So I've gone over the car now with a wire brush in the target areas, and as you can see, sills are pretty bad here, worse than I had expected once you take a bit of paint off. Coming up top, there was a spot here that I was able to get out as well, and I'll get them to fix because I want to do the trim, so that's going to affect the trim if I have to do that later. Back sill. Inside, I've just cleaned up the floors a bit. They haven't rusted through completely, but a few bits have a small hole in them. In the corner here, it's pretty bad. You might not be able to see with the light, but we'll try and brighten that. Big hole in the side of the sill there. A lot of rust along the edge. A few little holes up here, which will get fixed. Down along the door. Just behind the centerpiece, there's another bit of rust. Same story over the other side. Rust over there. Rust in the corner, you can see straight through the edge of the sill, front corner. We'll go around and have a look at the other side. Same on the corner there. And this one's really bad, all the way through. Nothing at all left of that piece in the corner. And then plenty of holes up the side of the sill, so the sills will need to be replaced. So welcome to episode 4. Lots of progress in this episode as the Mini heads off for its rust repairs and we start preparing the car from the inside out. So she's back from the panel beater, and as you can see we've had a lot of little bits tidied up down the side here. The sills have been redone under the A-pillars here. All along the underside of the sills are all new, welded in. Let's have a look inside. New floor pans, inner sills. Also behind that centerpiece here, new inner sill. And same over the other side there. So all those holes that we previously exposed are all now welded up. The left side pan there was actually quite good, so we didn't need to replace that. It was just the driver's pan that we needed to replace. Now let's open up the boot. Remove my tape. New boot floor. No more holes. New battery box as well, so that's all very nice and solid. I've just got to drill a couple of holes in the base of the battery box just in case moisture sits in that. So it drains, and again, same spot down the back here has been done. All new side sills, and where we had that huge hole through this A-pillar piece, it's now all welded up, all very solid. Just in undercoat at this stage. And there is another tiny bit at the top of the roof here as well that I had done. That hole that I exposed, that's all been welded up nicely. Yeah, one solid little Mini now, and now it's time to start doing the bits and pieces inside. Here are some of the pieces of the sills that they cut out. Unbelievable how bad it was, and it just goes to show how these cars were just regular cars back in the day that were kept out in the weather, and there's nothing much left of that metal. So looking inside, we are going to be stripping out all the interior here, mainly focusing on this upper part of the roof, so removing the roof lining so we can make sure that we're ready for a new roof lining to go in, checking there's no rust or anything behind it, and just hand painting behind those areas as well. So we're going to rip all of this out and prepare for the new. So a fair bit of work to do here on the back parcel shelf. Someone has cut 2 enormous speaker holes there. Got to rip out all the old trim here. There's also massive subwoofer holes in the back of the rear seat that someone's cut out, so we're going to need to rivet those up. And eventually we're going to need to put new anchor points for the seat belts there as well. So I've taken all of the rubbers out of the car now, all the windows out, because the next step is to take the car to the motor trimmer to get a new roof lining put in. When I get the roof lining put in, we're also going to put in all new rubbers. But before we do any of that, I wanted to prepare the car to make sure we didn't have to take the roof lining off to do things like painting. So what I've done is I've got a wire brush to all of these edges. Once we've taken all of this out, it actually looks pretty good up here. There's no serious rust anywhere. There was a bit of rust up in the front corner, but that's been dealt with now when we got the rust repairs done to the car. So now I'm just going to go around
the roof edge here where it needs to be painted. So I'm going to be painting this in a 2-pack paint with an Etch primer as well. And we're going to go around it with some sandpaper and just try and get it back to the bare metal where we can. And then we're going to do a bit of painting to make sure it's all properly sealed by the time we get the roof line and put in the car.
And that's the kind of finish that we're looking for around these edges. So we've contacted our friends at VG Auto Paints, and these guys in Sydney are able to mix up just about any colour of paint for classic cars and everything very easily. So we've ordered our Jade Green, which is the original colour for the car, and that's what we're going to be painting by brush in the interior. So as you can see here, we've now done all the sanding around all of the windows where the rubbers are going to go, and we've put in an Etch primer. Now later on in this series you'll find out that a lot of this is actually a bit excessive. All this stuff we've done inside the car here that you can see is great because it allows us to progress to the next step, but we do end up getting the outside of the car properly painted anyway. So this external stuff that I'm doing now, temporarily, it's just protected the car from rust, which is great. I did plan on originally putting the rubbers straight onto the car and just driving it as it was with the rest of the car having its old paint. Hence I was doing this around the windows, but we've decided to actually get the exterior of the car painted, which we're going to be showing in a later episode. So now we're going to start moving into preparation of the back parcel shelf and the back seat, as well as the remainder of the interior. So we're starting off here by removing the seatbelt buckles. So we're going to use this automotive sealant to put these discs that I've cut out over these panels here on the back of the seat, and then we're going to also then rivet those panels to the back seat as a bit of a temporary fix. It's a cheap solution. You could get them properly welded up, but I figure it's you're not going to see it anyway, and it's going to be covered in sound insulation, so there's no point. So we're going to use this just to seal that and rivet it up, and it should do just fine. So there's been a little bit of slow progress now. We've got these panels riveted on with the panel glue as well. So the rear seat is now properly sealed, and over the top of this we can put the sound deadening material as well. And we've also next got to finish off the base of the seat. And in the trunk here, not exactly the prettiest sight, but all sealed now. No more subwoofer holes. and the Etch primer is looking good.
One of the big issues I've always found with all minis is that the rear seat is really flimsy, particularly if you've got adults sitting in the car. And even when this little center support piece is riveted, often it breaks off, which this one has, and I'll have to re-rivet it. But the problem is the actual panels bow on either side because it's just thin sheet metal, so it's not really strong enough. So I've built a little frame for this, which I'll show you in a second. And the frame is basically a galvanized steel bar that goes from one side to another that sits on little support blocks on either side, and that's just going to keep the seat flat. And then I'm just going to put self-tapping metal screws along there so it's really firm, and it also gives you extra support for the seat base itself. I've had the seat base retrimmed, so I want to look after the seats, so I want this surface to be very flat for the seat, and it makes the car feel a lot more quality when you're sitting in the back and you don't feel all this movement. And you don't have the risk of this breaking yet again. So this is the little frame I've built, and as I mentioned, it's just a square piece of galvanized steel, quite strong, on 2 blocks, and the blocks have just been cut to the same angle as the seat. And the idea is that this will just slip in underneath. So I'll move it in front of that little support piece now, and I've pre-drilled these holes, so that'll go in with some force. Pushes up and flattens everything, and then of course once that's right in, I'll be putting a new rivets in the middle there, putting the screws in along that bar, and it just makes the whole thing a lot more strong. So one thing we're doing while the roof lining is out is putting in some sound insulation, and this stuff is from a place called Car Builders, and it's got all this sort of DIY stuff that you can order online. We're putting these just in patches. We're not going to line the entire roof. I'm also being careful not to go down into these areas here, because if there is a bit of water that gets trapped, it's going to be trapped underneath the insulation, which is not good in the corn for rust and things. So we're just going to keep it in sort of probably 6 panels, I think, across the top, and then maybe some strips along the front and back where it comes out for the back window here, just to make sure it takes a fair bit of the sound out of the larger panels. And we're also going to put the same insulation on the sides, the back seat, eventually the parcel shelf, and parts of the floor and seat as well. So what we're doing now is just finishing off the last bits of insulation in the rear floor, and then I'm going to be putting the carpet down. Still need to tape all of this up with silver tape. Now the reason I'm doing these bits of insulation on the ridges or on the top ridges of these panels and not covering every single thing is not just because I'm being cheap. It's because I still want to make sure that water isn't able to pool in any areas. So I'm only doing the top ridges because if water doesn't get into the car in future, whether that's through, you know, leaking window or something else, or through the floor, it's going to pool in these lower areas, in these lower ridges here. I don't want to put the insulation into those ridges because it's going to trap that water. Now, it is a Mini after all, it's going to be a loud car. All I really want is for these bits of insulation just to take the bong and the echoes out of the panels. I don't need to cover the entire floor. That ends up being a bit excessive and can cause rust problems in future. I want to be able to take the carpet up in future, check for leaks, check for collection of water and things, whilst having some insulation and some, I guess, sound absorption in these panels at the same time. So that's why I've only done this along the main ridges and the top ridges in particular, and on the main panels. I've covered these panels and the roof more extensively because it's unlikely that water's going to pool, obviously, in those vertical surfaces. But for the floor surfaces and any areas where water can pool, it's going to be better if you avoid covering or filling those areas with the silver foil.
So I've really focused on the rear section of the car, the seat, the sides, the roof, and of course the floor up to this middle panel here. We'll need to put tape over the edges of this silver foil here to finish it off, and then we're ready to move on to the front section. So what we've done for this video is just take off the top and lower dash pad. What we're going to end up doing is putting a Rover switch panel in place of the Leyland Australian switch panel. The floor in front of the dash actually looks really good, so we should be able to clean that up well and paint it all like we have in the rear, and of course put in the insulation. The Leyland heater we've torn out. We've got a new Rover heater that's coming, and you can have a look here at the matrix inside the Leyland heater. These didn't even work when they were new. It's absolutely rotten. The matrix is completely destroyed in there, so we've got a new Rover heater ready to go in once it's all painted in there. Now, big news for next episode. We have bitten the bullet and got the car painted on the outside. It looks amazing in its original Jade Green. So please subscribe and look out for the next video, which will be up soon. Thanks for watching.